Hello, my name is Brian Kirsch, and today I want to talk to you about certifications and education. So, just for total disclosure here, I am a college professor, so I do teach at a local area 2 year tech college, but I also have a lot of IT certifications. And my background, I've got a master's degree in education, a bachelor's in IT, and a couple other degrees. So, I've actually gone down both sides of this. But I want to talk to you about kind of the value, where I see things, and hopefully a little bit of, I don't just call it career advice, but educational advice in working with your career. Okay. So, one of the first things let's just talk about here, the certification path. A lot of the certifications, Cisco, VMware, Microsoft, any of these, AWS, all have value. Okay. VMware certifications are real good because they require the course. AWS is real popular right now. Microsoft has always been rock solid, same with Cisco. None of these are a bad investment. The problem is, unless there's an education requirement to them, you can get victim of a brain dump. And what that means is somebody that just went through the kind of the quick boot camp, got the cert, and basically doesn't have any hands-on experience. That occurs. That's why sometimes people are a little nervous when they see somebody that has a pile of certifications and no actual experience. So that's kind of what you want to avoid, but that doesn't mean the certifications are bad. They validate your education. They validate your experience. The challenge to that is, do they replace an actual college degree? Now, let's be clear. The certifications is definitely a economical path. To get certified in, let's say, a Cisco or AWS, is it going to cost you tens of thousands of dollars? Even if you were to take the course, still wouldn't be, over 10 grand. However, a college degree, even 2 year or 4 year, can cost you from, to be honest, 10 to 15,000, well over 100 grand, easily over 100 grand. And the question becomes, is it worth it? Now, again, I'm a teacher at a 2 year college, and my first degree was at a 2 year school. Okay. Here's the trick. Here's what you're going to find a lot of companies are going to come back and tell you is you're seeing more and more companies requiring 4 year degrees. They're saying, hey, yes, we want to employ you, but you must have a 4 year degree. It doesn't necessarily have to be, oddly enough, in the field you're in. It just could be a 4 year degree. And where that's coming into play is people are looking for that to say there's a base level of education, there's a base level of experience there. And that's what they get when they look at that 4 year degree. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean that's going to teach you the skill set you need. I've got a 4 year degree in IT. And to be honest, I learned more at a tech school for hands-on stuff. That's going to be typical. The 4 year is going to be more of the theory versus the 2 year degrees. Okay, so when it comes to looking at the different degrees, the 2 year degree is always the hands-on experience. The 4 year degree is typically more the theory. That's just how it seems to be working that way. That doesn't mean you can't get a job with either, but oddly enough, and just from being in the educational space, I definitely see that it's easier for many of the 2 year students to get degrees over the 4 year because they have practical experience. However, if the company requires a 4 year degree, you still need that. Now, what you can do, and this is what I suggest to a lot of people, if you get your 2 year degree, a lot of that transfers into a 4 year college. So you can get your 2 year degree, get your hands on, and then basically work with that, and then complete a 4 year, at night, online, something like that. Kind of gives you the best of both worlds. Now, when it comes to comparing this to certification, here's the thing. Having a 4 year degree doesn't mean you're any better at IT than the person that's got 3 certifications. In fact, you might be worse, especially if they've got the experience. The challenge you're going to run into is what I mentioned before. Certain companies require it. They require a 4-year degree. That's not something that's easy to get around because it's typically an HR policy. So because of that, you might have to get it. I know not everyone wants to sit in school for years and all that stuff, but the problem is you might have the exact skill set a company needs, but if they need that piece of paper, if that's an HR policy, you don't have many choices around that. And that's the frustrating part. So they really do work together. Now, anybody going through school or looking at the certs, I always tell people try to get 1 or 2 a year. The certifications can be rough. They can take a lot of studying. It's a lot of effort. And I hate to say it, a lot of them expire. In my history, I've certified from obviously VMware, Microsoft, EMC, Brocade, Commvault, AWS, you name it. And mine are slowly starting to fall away. Part of that's because of, to be honest, my age. As I've gotten older and I've gained more experience and everything else, I didn't have to worry about them as much. I don't need them to go get a job. Now, if I was 20 years younger, completely different story. If I was in my 20s and 30s, I would definitely want them. But I think as people start to age and you start building up that experience, the certifications and the number of letters after your name just don't matter as much. However, and I want to put a big however here, similar to a college degree into some roles, there are IT positions that say, hey, you must be VMware certified or AWS certified to apply for this job. If you see that and that's the field you're in and what you're looking to do, keep in mind that that might pop up. And what you don't want to do is lose a great opportunity because you don't have a piece of paper. Okay, that's the one thing you don't want to do. And that does happen to people. I know several people that would have loved to work for different companies in their history, but they couldn't. And they couldn't do it because they didn't have that piece of paper. So just a little kind of a summary about education, certifications, why they're important, the cost aspect. I only touched on it, but college is expensive. If you can find an employer to pay for it, or for even one class a semester, definitely take advantage of it. There is nothing wrong with having that degree, or to be honest, multiple degrees. I've got a degree in IT, in business, and in education. Makes me a little bit more well-rounded. And that's a great opportunity for going somewhere next. So take advantage of the opportunities when presented. Utilize the college reimbursement if your employer has it. Aim for at least one certification, like an AWS this year or something else then next year. Aim for that to keep continuing to show growth. And yes, you can let them taper off once you have all that experience under you. But until you have that, kind of work with these and go forward. So again, my name is Brian Kirsch, and thank you very much.